Hey, what's up guys? So today I'm going to be talking about 10 features I'd love to see inside a Roblox Jailbreak. So without further ado, let's get into it. Starting at number 1, I think Jailbreak Ranked would be another insane feature where Jailbreak is not only more competitive, but the stakes are higher. Just imagine competing for more money earned from robberies, bounties doubled, time to rob something shortened, and random robberies opening, like not in robbery groups. So criminals and cops both don't know what's coming next. So, let's say rob jewelry store and then oil rig right after. I think this would make the game more challenging, and I think once you get to the max rank, similar to like many other games with ranked, top 100 players should appear on a leaderboard depending on how much money they made overall, in ranked only. And for number 2, I'd love to see the bank robbery change. And when I say this, I mean the entire way the bank is robbed, because its concept has been the same since the date's released. So adding difficulty or some change into it would make it way more challenging and fun. So I think this can be done by just making the bank robbery be like the ones in movies rather than those unrealistic obbies. So I think adding a feature like holding hostages to buy time so that cops maybe can't even enter would make it more intense for both cops and criminals. Cops get more time to get to the bank, and I think it would also buy time for people to rob the bank and overall seem like really fun. But I don't think this feature should be there all the time because it could be a bit unfair. And getting into number 3, I think making the garage easier to use, like having your favorite cars appear on the top, would be ideal, because a lot of loyal jailbreak players who tend to have many cars, just struggle to find the vehicles they're looking for because they have so much. So, adding this feature, similar to many games, obviously, just having it appear on the top would just save so much time. And this could obviously also apply to textures, rims, and so on. For number 4, we're making a switch, and we're going to talk about trading. So I trade a lot myself and have always wanted one thing in mind when I was looking through each player's account in the trade hub. So if I want a torpedo, I'm looking for a torpedo only. So, doing that can be so time consuming and unnecessary since you have to go through each player's account. It's just so unnecessary. So I think adding some type of advanced search to see everyone's items in the same lobby. I don't know how to explain it. Like, if I'm looking for the torpedo, I just search torpedo in this advanced search, and it shows me, oh, John has a torpedo, Mike has a torpedo. So then I can just go to them directly instead of going through each player individually, So I think this could also work as a VIP feature. I mean, I don't have the trade VIP, but I think it's pretty overpriced for what it's worth. So I think this would increase Jailbreak's profits, but also add some value to the Game Pass. And number 5, I think this one's a big request. However, I don't know, but the city's getting kind of boring. So a rising city and creator city revamp would make the game so much more enjoyable, since rising city is getting a bit boring despite it being very well made. And I think experimenting with a new city, even just temporarily, would be really fun and would feel like a first time playing Jailbreak for everyone. And creator city, in my opinion, is just not very well made, and the way it was structured and formatted is kind of weird. So it'd be a pretty cool change, to see rising city replace creator city, and then a new city replace the current location of rising city. But moving on to number 6, I think this one would spike Jailbreak's player count so much it could move into the 100k average players even for just a little bit. And that would be police Hyperchromes, or at least some type of reward system similar to that, where police could also earn really cool cosmetic items for arresting players and busting banks. I think to balance this though, bounties should be either harder to get or lowered to 15k depending on the difficulty of obtaining these cosmetics. And I believe they have to have a leveling feature just like Hyperchromes, or it would be more and more difficult to get the grand prize. I believe this would fix the uneven criminal to cop ratio and just make the game super competitive and fun. In addition to that, number 7 is slightly relates to number 6, and that would be skill-based matchmaking. I do believe Jailbreak is extremely beginner unfriendly, and that many new returning players struggle to enjoy the game since the difference in skill is just huge. Imagine someone starting off with a Camaro, having to go against someone in a Roadster or a Proto. Just so unfair, and it just makes the game so hard for players who don't really know how to play the game. So I think it would be more competitive for all players if it's just determined on how much vehicles or money a player has had all time, or even time spent on the game. I think this would make Jailbreak really, really fun and really more competitive, much more competitive. So moving on to number 8, this one isn't really a playable feature, but just something to improve in the overall quality of the game. That would be an actual anti-cheat. I mean, Asimo, please, we're pretty much begging at this point. The game just gets so frustrating when an auto-arrest or auto-robber joins. And, I just tend to just go off after I get arrested by an auto-arrester or have to face an auto-robber as a cop. So even playing with one as a criminal, they just steal every robbery in their clothes before you even get to them. So that's pretty annoying. I think this should be fixed. Just get a new anti-cheat, please. Now, number 9. This is kind of like a quality of life type of feature, but fixing the graphics or making graphics customizable in a way I could earn or add my own skybox, like that obviously only I can see, would make the game so much more entertaining and just much cooler. So I also think adding a graphic choice where I could, I don't know, let's say 2019 for instance, if I want the 2019 graphics, or if I would want to make the most out of my PC by making some super hyper realistic graphics or like some type of ray tracing, or the complete opposite for those with bad PCs to essentially get max render distance by having lower graphic meshes and so on, so that players with quick vehicles but low-end PCs or devices could drive quickly without falling through the void. Yes, if you have good Wi-Fi and a good PC, it's quite literally possible to fall to the ground randomly when driving. And finally, for number 10, I think more collabs with large companies for exclusive cosmetics and items would be a very fun feature from a player perspective, and also beneficial for Jailbreak, and gives more exposure for the game as a developer, and is better for content creators. So also collabing with Roblox games, especially super huge ones like Grow Garden or Blox Fruits, which in a way have similar concepts to Jailbreak, would be beneficial as the player count would most definitely increase, since none of these games have an end goal and they're mainly just grinding. Anyway, to the 5 of you who made it this far, thank you so much for watching and listening to what I had to say. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and let me know if you agree with what I had to say in this video. See you all next time.